Hello everyone. Welcome back to a new YouTube video. I am Cole Exner McHenry, and I am joined here by the one and only DVL. DVL, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. How about yourself?
Doing well. Doing well. I'm excited to get back into these interviews because the last time I did an interview with someone on Big Chillin, it was an entirely different roster. So I think it was
Yeah,
about time
it was
that we
micro, wasn't it?
yeah, it was micro
Yeah.
back in like season 35 or 36 maybe. So I need to get these ones updated. I need to get you all. I need to get some previews for you all because you guys made it into Premiere again after a rough initial season. You guys were able to get your way back into it. But before we get into the more recent stuff, I kind of want to talk about how you guys have built up your roster because we talk a lot about the long-standing rosters in North America, the ones that have been together for quite some time, and you guys are kind of getting to that point. Um, sub like a couple roster changes with Monk and or Bron and Mellow.
hmm
Um, but before we get into that, I want to talk about how you guys were able to formulate the core of your squad because you guys just barely missed out on advanced playoffs, and I believe it was season 35. And so after
Yes.
season 35, you made the changes, or at least the changes have occurred in your team where you ended up leaving off Squidda and Heedy and joined up with two new players. So do you want to talk about how you were able to pull that off and how you changed up your roster from a
Yeah.
roster that
Uh,
was. Oh, you go ahead. Go ahead. I'll just.
funny enough, don't really cut people. Heedy and Squid both. Heedy ended up starting
Yeah.
a job, so he wanted to go, work on his own thing. And same thing with Squid. He was working a lot, and he had a girlfriend
Hmm.
as well, so he wanted to take a
Yeah.
step back. So we actually, our team with Mellow, Zen, Elk, we actually picked up Elk the previous season. He filled in halfway because Mike took a break for a
Hmm.
couple games. And we ended up trying him out, and we liked him. We actually picked him up from our little chillin' intermediate
Academy.
academy team. Yeah, which was basically our friends all playing
Right.
together, and we liked him, so we ended up adding him, and he fit nicely. A little bit of learning to be done, but right now he's been great for the past couple seasons. Top of the stats, good comms, all that.
Yeah.
Good player. I'm glad we picked him up. Zen and Mellow. Funny enough, we once season 35, was all done and whatnot. I had a tryout for Zen's team at the time, which was GSG9 with Sherps, Robbie, and Deco and them.
Yeah.
But that, didn't pan out, and he ended up getting cut. So we decided we were going to make this team. We were pugging a lot together. We had a 100% win rate on Face It, so that's how you know it's a good stack.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
a good
promising.
team. Yeah, so we ended up, all of us were pugging together. Monk was on the premier team at the time, so we had one spot to fill. Squid was iffy if he wanted to play or not, and we had a couple other people that we were going to try out. Funny enough, JoJo was one of them, and he ended up getting on Mythic like a week later, so, can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at
Yeah.
him for making that decision. But then Monk ended up coming back, and we rolled with him. So we needed an opper as well, and we let him op go pick up all of Squid's roles for the most part, and it was a learning experience for him. It was a little bit rough at the start, but it's gotten progressively better as the season's gone on and
Hmm.
all that. Oh, what's going on? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to follow that up with. So you talked about that roster already that got you into the relegation tournament. Now, when did you initially think that this team could kind of make it into Premier, that they were Premier capable? Because you guys were able to make playoffs finally and were able to make it to the point. I think you finished third place in the playoffs. So when did you
Um,
finally think you were Premier ready?
we didn't. We didn't think we would make Premier.
Okay.
Um, uh, how Advance was at the time is I would say
Hmm.
Advance was not what it had been in previous seasons. With
Right.
RPG, Third Impact, a lot of the teams that are now in Premier weren't in
Hmm.
Advance. It was a lot more, move ups and whatnot. So we were kind of getting by season 35, just individually being better than most of the teams we've played. Um, and that was one of the things we had to work on going into Premier was, not having to rely on individual skill, someone just popping off one game or,
Hmm.
someone else the next, and actually, building foundation structure and strats and all that for Premier. And it started to, as you can see, in relegation from advanced to make Premier the first time. We changed a lot of things. We added a lot of new things and a lot of structure. And funny enough, I'll credit that to RBG for railing us in scrims and made us realize that, hey, we need to change a lot of stuff. We actually took a lot of stuff from them as well. And this was with Wolfie on the team a couple seasons ago. So yeah, I credit RBG to making us better and getting us ready for playoffs and whatnot. So shout out to them. They're always fun scrims.
Yeah, I've heard lots of stories about teams that are like very confident, and then they've had to play RBG and scrims, and I've come out of the scrim, and they're like, "Yeah, we got 23-2'd on whatever map," and I'm just like, "Oh, you know what? Maybe we're not ready for Premier or something like that." So yeah, the good.
We played
right
them
there.
on Vertigo a lot, and I don't think that was one of their main maps at the time, but it was one of our main maps, and they were just railing us on it. And oh man, it was not fun at the beginning, but then we slowly started to adjust and figuring out things to not be some mediocre advanced team that can just aim and make it into Premier and hold your own. And that was something that carried over into relegation. It carried over into our first couple matches of Premier, and then we decided to make a switch. And yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of head into like the Premier territory here, and I wanted to talk about your expectations, because now that I know that like you all weren't even expecting to make it into like the relegation tournament, you all didn't have the highest expectations, and understandably so, because a lot of you all were kind of new to playoffs, even at advanced. So heading into Premier, you guys were finally able to make it there. What were your expectations for the season? Was it kind of like a chance to grow and improve, or was it like, maybe our goal is to not get relegated or something along those lines?
We basically set a goal that we thought was a little bit out of reach, but we could do, a realistic goal, and then the worst case scenario, relegation. So we thought we would, at our very best, we played our best every match that we can make playoffs. We not high tier, beating Extra Solid, obviously that's not going to happen. At our level, we're fairly new. We knew where we stood in the terms of Premier teams. We knew we were bottom middle pack, but we could definitely scrape off some maps or wins against mid or high tier teams.
You guys had
that didn't happen. There were a couple series that could have went our ways, a couple maps that could have went our ways, but just inexperience probably got the best of us. So
for sure, you guys did have like a group that I could kind of see you guys having a chance at making playoffs. I mean, some of those teams were like GGPR, which you were able to take close. Even Secret Club, I think you all took it into overtime on one of the maps.
Yeah, so, that was our first series. We played Mirage and Vertigo against them. Mirage, we never scrimmed, so they rolled us on that. And then Vertigo, it was Train. We lost 16-14 on Train against them. Yeah, we should have beat them on Train, but we tossed. So that was just another one of those nerves. First match, first Premier match got to us. But oh well, you live and you learn. So
yeah, I mean, given those like first two results, you kind of had a wake up call in Premier with Secret Club. Your narrow loss on Train, and then on top of that, right afterwards was Triumph. So, given those two results, was that kind of heading into the decision to pick up Bron? Because Bron, he was a player that you all, I believe, had played with before.
Yes,
at one
me and
point,
Monk have both played with him for a while. No, that was not our turning point, or the light in the sky or whatever. We decided before the season was going to start, before Premier, after we made Premier, halfway through, we would revisit where we were as a team, where we thought we should be, and if we wanted to make any changes. And everyone knew that this talk was going to happen, and eventually it did. And we decided we wanted to try out Bron for Mellow, and it went well at first, and then I don't know, I guess we couldn't get it started. We switched up roles. We let Bron off for a little bit over Mike, and it just kind of ended up clashing, and Bron ended up not wanting to play anymore. So we went back to Mellow, and hit the big reverse Uno card, and hope all goes well. And it's been going well. We've been playing better as a team in scrims and whatnot. So I mean, we're excited for this next season. Our first season got the growing pains out of the way. learn what we need to work on as a team, maps, small things, stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
coming into the next season prepared.
So right there, you're kind of hinting at like the idea of this team is to kind of develop long term. So, heading into this next season, what are your goals as a roster that's looking to continue to develop? Like, is it that constant improvement that you're looking for, and like a
Yeah.
long term plan?
As a roster leader, I don't really like changing out players because I
Yeah.
call as well for the team. Me and Mike both
Mhm.
call a good amount. I don't want to switch out players. I don't like switching roles. I don't like switching players with out here and there, because it builds chemistry. I like playing with the people I have on my team. I enjoy playing with them. That's why I play with them. I
Yeah.
don't want to get some random toxic Joe Smo from the street and throw him into my roster and hope he drops 100 ADR.
Right.
I'd rather get a bunch of people I enjoy playing with and build a good team around them. Because if you're not having fun, you're not going to win. So that's
Yeah.
how I see it.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of wanted to talk about your re-edition of Mellow, because you all did look a lot better than you all I think have looked in quite some time in the relegation tournament. I think that you definitely showed some improvements. So do you kind of accredit that to your experience in Premier, that chance to kind of improve as a roster? Because you did look a step ahead of the advanced teams.
I would say I want to credit a lot to our coach, Aphotic. He was with us in advanced, all through relegation as well. He does a bunch of prep work for us. Counter stratting, whatever, just
Yeah.
normal demo work, getting a bunch of new stuff for us. He does a lot, and he did a lot last season in advance. It's primarily the reason we made relegation and Premier was because of him, and him being like, hey, we're fucking up here, 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 and here.
Yeah.
Let's fix this and get ready for Premier. And we didn't have that at the beginning of last season because he wanted to take a break and focus on school. And he ended up coming back, I think, before our last two matches. He came back for the GGPR match, which, I don't know, he had like a day or two to prep for it. And he did good prep, but we just weren't ready for it. As a team, we weren't there. And going into relegations, and we had about, I think, a month to prepare.
And all of those demos as well, straight off of playoffs.
Yeah. So he had a lot of demos on advanced teams to work on, but at the same time, there's only so much you can gain from watching, advanced teams play certain maps, and we basically just focused on ourselves and watched pro demos and try and work on ourselves. There's something else I can't remember. It'll come back to it.
Yeah, I'll come back to it there. So now, like, I want to talk a little bit about the future here, because we dabbled into it a little bit, your long-term plans. But now for season 38, what are the goals that you guys have in mind? Like, what are you guys going to be preparing for? What are you having that midway point where you're thinking, like, are we going to reevaluate this time, or are you really just trying to focus on getting that experience in Premiere and kind of, utilizing that to be a part of your improvement?
I would say we're going to probably, for the most part, stick together as a 5 because we want to compete in all these lands, and with Frag coming up at the middle-ish end of September, so is that about like a month and a half, 2 months, give or take? So we want to be ready for that, which means we're going to want to have these months of chemistry built up, and obviously another season of Premier under all of our belts would help. But yeah, our goal is to stick together and improve. I think we're kind of past the, we tried replacing and fixing our issues that way, and it kind of backfired. So I think we're just going to try and go back to the, just work it out with ourselves and go on that route, which I prefer to do. I would rather, stick with the 5 we're playing with and like I said, not have to switch up people every week.
Yeah, as an IGL, that makes perfect sense. So you already mentioned that. I'm kind of heading into my last question here, but are you guys planning on going to any Frag events? I think we talked a little bit about it before, but which ones are you guys hoping to, and like what are your goals with these upcoming lands as well?
Well, we want to win the one in Philly next weekend. That's our goal, is to win that one. Like I said, the only 3 teams that I think are going to pose any sort of problem is Verum. I think Cold Ass Riding. I want to play those guys. I like those guys. I'm glad they made Premier.
Me too.
But I do want to play them. I think that'll be a fun game. And there's a couple other advanced teams that I can't remember off the top of my head that are going to be there. But for the most part, I'm excited to play Verum and Cold Ass Riding.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
all I
and
got
then
for you.
obviously main frag later in the year. And then
Yeah.
whatever little events that we're all East Coast, so we try to
Okay.
hit up any East Coast tournaments we can.
Yeah,
That are
DreamHack
worth.
Atlanta, I think is. I don't know how big that is or what the qualifications are going to be,
Yeah,
but that's
we're all
coming
in
up.
Northeast, so we try
Uh,
and stay around like the New York,
yeah,
PA, DC area, and try
yeah,
and get all those ones.
for sure. Awesome. Yeah, that's all. That's all I have for you tonight. But do you have anything you want to shout out or plug before we head out?
Oh, you want me to plug something?
Yeah.
Of course, I got you. BigChillinShop.com. What's the other one? SaveNACS.com.
Yeah.
Shout out the Bad News Bears boys. Go buy
Mhm.
some merch. Go buy both of them. Actually, I think they're sold out. I think everything's sold out right now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
when it
It's all
comes
sold
back
out.
out.
Mhm. When they
When it
bring
comes
more
back
out.
out.
Yeah.
Yes, soon. I believe we're doing something for summer.
Okay.
For both. I just don't know when, but
Yeah.
summer. So
Okay.
expect
Yeah, I
that.
got that. I got that shirt that you're wearing in your picture right now.
Yep,
It's
the
one of
long
my
sleeve.
favorite shirts. Yeah, I
I
wear it all
haven't
the
worn that
time.
in a minute. My favorite
It's
actually
too
is
hot
the
out right now, but
yeah. My favorite's the bone crew neck. I
okay.
love that thing. I wear that all the time.
Sweet. Yeah. So I highly suggest it, man. They're great. Go and show all
Yes,
those.
yes.
Link in the
Buy our merch.
description.
Our
You
merch
all.
is amazing.
Sweet. Yeah. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you all so much, or well, thank you all for tuning in if you're watching this on YouTube. But thanks for coming out, of course, DVL, for
Yeah,
the
thank you.
interview.
Thank you for
And
having me. This was fun. I'll have to do
yeah,
it more. It was
for
the
sure.
first interview ever.
There you go. You get the first one on the board. Awesome,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you for watching, and peace out.